favorite horror movie is Scream. It's changed my life.
Yeah, baby. What you got, man?
Who do you think Billy and Stu is your favorite Ghostface would be?
Billy and Stu. Next
Yeah. My favorite Stu.
That's not even a question. I like
Are there
me.
others?
I like me, bro.
Let's see. Who looks like they have a great question?
I have one. At the very back.
Oh, you can point it at, bro. You definitely have a good one. Come down this way if you don't mind.
If you're out there, all they can do is put me on the screen.
That was my plan.
Stay out there. Stay out there.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm just curious if there's anything to touch on, like moments of improvisation on screen between you guys. I would love to hear if there was anything like that.
Well, let me ask Matt. Is there somewhere in the script that was written that you get hit with a phone?
I don't think it's funny.
That was definitely not in the script. Yeah.
It's funny because there is an F-bomb in that, and they had it's PG-13 movie. It originally came, no, that's not true actually. I think it's an R, but we originally were rated NC-17. And the things that changed it from an NC-17 to a hard R was the fact that his guts, the kid in the beginning, Drew's boyfriend's guts, used to fall from his lap onto the ground, which apparently that makes it too much. And then the other crazy thing is that when we're stabbing each other, sorry, spoiler alert. 30 years later. Sorry, not sorry. But there's a sound effect of the blood dripping, and that sound effect turned it again from an R to an NC-17, which is crazy, right? But in the movie, you're only allowed 2 F-bombs, and because I threw an F-bomb into that improv, Tatum, Rose McGowan, lost her F-bomb, lost a couple of her favorite lines, and she's still angry about it. Yeah. But there was a lot of improv. That was the great thing about Wes. Wes Craven would like capture as written, and then both Wes and Kevin would allow us to expand on separate takes, which is why that ended up movie is so crazy, because we added things the entire time, and some of them stayed, and some of them didn't.
Yeah, baby. What you got?
Are you guys allowed to tell us who's kills with who?
That's an interesting question because it was something that was never discussed, and that even Kevin Williamson never thought out. So it's all fan theory, which I think is really great. So whoever you decide it is, and there are some really good detectives out there who have put it together, and I think it makes a lot of sense. But for us, I don't remember ever discussing it on set or even offset while we were filming, like, oh, who do you think did that or that? So I don't know. Yeah, I know.
Mr. Ulrich, Mr. Ulrich, sir.
Yeah? That's my name? I'm gonna come back.
Just call you out and you're responding?
Yeah, I mean, but you should have heard it. It was quiet out here.
I would like to thank you very much for giving me this honor for a second. I just want to ask Mr. Matthew Lillard.
Okay, that was great.
I would like to ask, what was your experience working for these past 20 years with Scooby-Doo of all people?
Thank you for your question. Any question about me is important. It's good. He never shows up. He's always late for work. No, but there's a bunch of actors, voice actors here today at this con, which I think is great to celebrate voice actors. I love that job. I love that part because it's making an impact. And kids today, right, are still watching that cartoon. They're still watching that movie. And so to have a legacy and to hold up a legacy like an iconic part like Shaggy is really one of the highlights of my entire life.
You did this at one convention, Matt, and I love it. I think they would probably love it to explain how the walk developed.
Oh. You're putting me on the spot.
I know. You like the spot.
Okay. So when we did, one of the challenging things about Scooby-Doo is we had to take a two-dimensional character that everyone knows and loves and transform it into a human being, and that's a weird job. And so I hired 2 acting coaches who were like dear friends of mine, and we rented out a studio space, and we really figured out how to sort of embody the physical nature of Shaggy. And so there's a Shaggy right there. He's trying to leave. Why are you leaving? Bro, I'm about to tell you how to walk. Do you have to poop? Like, man, go do it. Alright, you ready? Alright, so the first thing is you put flippers on your feet. You put on like big, like, you know, flippers, like scuba. Flippers? Yeah, flippers. Yeah. So you put them on your feet. That's pretty stupid, right? You're like, oh, but it makes sense. Like you're trying to figure out how to physically do something, and then, oh, you put strings on your hands. Shaggy and Scooby's food, so you put it all together and you eat with your mouth. I just blew out my knee.
I wanted to ask Matthew, how would Shaggy fare in a Scream movie?
He would 100% kick ass because he would literally look at the first dead person and run for days. He would do what every normal person would do, which is like, I'm out, I don't want to be here. I don't need to save anyone else, I'm leaving. So,
you ready? Alright, here we go.
Hi. What is your favorite scene or line from the Scream movie?
Ooh. I mean, the scene, you know, in the kitchen for me was, you know, it took us, what, 15 shooting days? It was a lot of work for many nights, and there's a lot of energy and a lot to it, but I love that scene so much. I mean, it's when, you know, we get to let out who these guys really are. I think probably my favorite line is, because I think it's so true, is we all go a little mad sometimes. Because we do. What do you got, Matt?
Same thing, that scene, and
My mom
I think my mom and dad are
getting
so
so mad at me.
They were. Let me go up this way. I've been way back in the back for a little while.
We can switch to, you can come be on camera.
Oh, yeah, I want to be on camera, but hang on, let me... Oh, yes, of course.
If you could portray any other slasher movie character, which would you portray?
Whichever has the most sequels.
It's pretty smart. That's pretty smart.
You come up here, because that way,
Okay.
they don't just...
I don't know who I would portray. It's a good question. I'll think about that for a minute. Certainly some other psycho killer.
I love that you're walking around with security. You don't need security.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
can you stay right here? Sorry, that got crazy.
Yes, Daddy.
What's your name?
My name is Lorena.
She needs security.
What do you guys think of the scary movie franchises?
They're great. That was a question. What do you think of the scary movie franchises?
Oh yeah, I kind of watched it once.
That's like going over to your like ex-wife's Christmas party. Oh, you're making fun of me. That's awesome. Did he go down this row?
I did go over there.
What's your question? Hi. What's your name? Thank you so much. Yeah, good question. It was really, I had never worn the suit, and the first day I got to work, I put on the suit to shoot. I'm like, oh, I should probably have rented out a dance studio and hired friends to figure out how to work this thing. But I auditioned for a movie called Planet of the Apes, and I didn't get it, which happens all the time. But I worked on like this ape thing really hard. I really like physical work. So I would walk around for like a week getting ready for this audition like this. So when I put on the suit, there's a lot of information. When I put on the suit, I was like, well, what am I gonna do? I'm like, give the picture. I'm a dad of 3, I'm 54 years old. And I'm like, well, how am I gonna walk? What is this guy gonna do? He's not, So I started getting my body, and I immediately started going, So now, every time, I just finished the second movie, but every time I put that thing on, I go through this whole and I like own it physically. Yeah, that's the answer. That's the whole answer. But I do think, Skeet, what's it like to live a life of rejection?
It's
a serious
earlier.
It's a serious question.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I just read for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and got down to me and 2 other dudes, and found out last night it ain't me. But that's the whole. It's almost a weekly experience of putting yourself out there for things and hoping and falling in love with material and then having to move on. There are big wins, so that makes it palatable. But it's a lot of rejection. But when you do what you love, which I think is one of the most important things that you can do in this world. How many of you are artists, actors, and singers, and writers, and painters, and yeah, it's not an easy life, but you're doing what you love to do. So when you get those moments that you get to do it, it makes everything else fall away. And I think it's crucial that you find what you love to do. My kids are now almost 24, and it's something I've really instilled in them, that they find that thing that they truly, truly love to do, and that they never give up once they find out what that is in pursuing it. So I hope that you can do that as well. Don't hold Hollywood as the standard of success for if you're a filmmaker in any regard. It's the success is you finding that you love it and doing it in any way you can, whether that's making movies with your phone or with your friends or whatever. It's no different for us. We just get, people put up a lot of money for us to have really cool toys to make those things with. But it's the same love and the same passion that you have for it is no different than what Matt and I have. So
good answer.
Yeah.
Is that your question? That was your shot? Yeah, if I did that, then everyone would want a picture. Sorry. But I appreciate you taking the shot at it. I feel bad I said no, sorry. But then I would take
He already got one of you anyway.
Hi, do you have a question? What's your question? What's your name?
My name's Fisher.
You look amazing. What are you cosplaying as?
Mugman.
Does anyone want to see the cosplay? What's your question?
How did both of you start your horror career?
Oh, yeah, we auditioned. I mean, here's the funny thing, this idea that actors or artists especially actors, that you're in control of your destiny, it's very hard to say that's the case. I have many kids, he has many kids. If we're not working and someone comes along and offers you a really bad movie, but they're gonna pay you a lot of money and it feeds your kids, guess what? You're gonna take that movie, right? And that's just the reality. Sometimes you get stuck in things that you know are just as bad. And so that journey is the only power Kathleen Turner once said to me, the only power you actually have in Hollywood is the ability to say no. But once you say yes, you're in for the ride. And so you look amazing, man.
That is an incredible.
Please shoot my hair. That's amazing. And that is Mug Seeger. Mug Human. That's awesome. Thanks, bud. But yeah, but sometimes you just audition, and sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes it's a rom-com. I've never been in a rom-com, but maybe someday. And then sometimes it's a horror movie, right? Sometimes you end up doing, good movies, and sometimes you end up doing bad movies. You just try to be the best you can whenever given the opportunity. Thanks for your question. You look amazing. By the way, dads who cosplay with their kids automatically are winning. Because your kid will remember that the rest of his life, and having older kids now, that's all you can ask for. Hi. Hi, how are you? Hi. Who has a question? It feels like everyone's just raising their hand. I don't think anyone's really focused on a question. You look like you're focused on a question. You have a very punk rock haircut.
Thank you. My name's Christy. First of all, I have to say thank you guys, to both of you guys for being here. As a parent who has passed on the love of the movie to their child, you both as parents understand how that is. But what I want to know is, from both of you, how does it feel to be a part of a film that's a cult classic?
That's an ever-evolving feeling, to be honest. I mean, it's, I think for a long time, I was kind of unaware of the fandom that was out here. It was something certainly we knew, honestly, maybe a month after it released that year. You could tell it had a lot going on. It had a pretty big fan base, but really, when I started doing conventions, was when I noticed it, and it's taken a rise in the last 5 years that was completely unexpected. I don't know why it is. It's certainly not anything that we thought about when we were making it. We were a bunch of kids trying to, break into the business in a bigger way. But we were really a bunch of actors who got together and took a chance on a film that even Hollywood didn't necessarily want to take a chance on. I don't know if you know, but we started off shooting the sequence with Drew Barrymore in the beginning of the movie, and they finished that sequence, and Miramax stopped production. They were like, we don't want to make this movie anymore. We don't know what it is. We were on film in those days. It took Wes and two of the producers editing the beginning section of the movie together, rushing it to New York from Napa Valley, California, for the Weinsteins to look at it and go, oh, okay, now we get it, keep going. So the movie was almost shut down completely 2 weeks into filming. So we were really just up there enjoying ourselves, taking a risk. Had no idea, that anything like this would ever exist. We were just doing what we love to do. So again, back to that point, do what you love to do, and you have no idea what may come of it.
I love you. Hi, what's your question? Heather, how long do we have?
About 10 minutes.
Nice, okay.
Hi, my name is Sam. What was your favorite movie to film? Scream, 13 Ghosts, or Scream?
Those are all the choices. What did I hear? Skeet, what's your favorite movie to shoot?
I was really good at Scooby-Doo. I don't know. I love them all, to be honest. Each experience is different, and you're so in love with it while you're doing it, because that's kind of our job, is to fall in love with the material we're working on at the moment. Scream is definitely way up there. It was an experience unlike most, and mainly because of Matt was saying that those friendships that developed off camera. But yeah, I think each and every one of them to me are special and hard to sort of, say which ones are the best. I can tell you a couple that were not so fun, but yeah, I love most of them.
Which ones weren't fun? Does it? Sarah, thank you for your question. Yeah, I think Scream was my favorite. I mean, but listen, the reality is like, you have, this is gonna be a weird stretch, but hang with me for 1 second. I love my wife, I've been married 25 years, thank you very much. But I don't look back on any relationship in my life and go, oh God, I hated it. I sort of loved every experience I ever had, right? Good and bad, growth, not growth, whatever. Movies the same way. You're collecting hours as an artist. Your job is to die at the end of your life be an artist. I'm gonna say it again. My only goal is to be an artist my whole life. So every time I'm working, I'm not sitting at home insecure that I may never work again, which is still a very real possibility. So it's all a wash, right? You're like, life goes by fast. We both have 30 plus years in this industry, and each one of them has like little idiosyncratic moments that live eternally with us, right? So good and bad, I love them all. But Scream, I was definitely the drunkest. That's not true. I'm sure I was drunker somewhere. I don't think we really hit the middle. Who has a question in the middle? Skeet can't answer a Beetle Grimm's question. You can stay right there. Low key Shaggy cosplay, I appreciate it. Zoinks.
My question was, any movie that you aren't in, you wish you could have been on?
Yeah, Star Wars. Yes. Every movie. I watch every. I'm like, dude. I could play that guy. Butler, he's so handsome and buff. What about you?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. What's your question?
Hi, I love you dearly, but my question is for Skeet.
Next question. Hey. Is that about Jerry?
She said, come here.
I like, did you see that? She said, come back here. Yes, Mama.
My question is, how did being a recurring character on most of Riverdale, the craziest show to ever exist, change your life?
Was it the craziest show that's ever existed?
What'd you say? How did it
Have
change
you
my
seen
life?
Twin Peaks? Yeah, you need to see more TV.
I think in hindsight, the thing that changed my friendship with Cole, to be honest. He's a lovely human being who is deeply insightful and intelligent and interesting and funny and he's become a dear friend of mine. So when I look back at that show, I really think of that relationship that became part of my life. The show itself was, I raised my twins on my own, so I only worked in LA from the time they were born until I did Riverdale when they were almost 16, like a month before they turned 16. And I didn't have nannies or anything like that, so they were always on set, they were always with me. And when I took that show, I was doing 4 flights a week to Vancouver, because it was the first time out of town, so it was 170 flights a season. Wow. And so a lot of it is a blur. Most of those seasons are airports in my memory. When we got to season 3, my kids begged me to slow down a bit and take some time up there. If I didn't work for 2 days, I came home. Then we set this thing like, if you don't work for 3 days, then come home. So I got to slow down a bit and enjoy it a little more and see Vancouver a little more. But in terms of the plot of the show and the story and all that, it got weird. It got really weird. I love the human aspect of the first season, and I thought it was what really drew people in, and my kids being that age, that sort of was the demo at that time. I felt like the parents really, the reason it resonated around the world like it did was that it gave kids an opportunity to go, wait, my parents are screwed up like that. Or my parents had those flaws or those faults, and there was a relation aspect to it, to viewers. And I'm not you guys or whoever was a big fan of it, but I think that's what the linkage was in my mind. So I thought there was a lot of value in the beginning of that show that sort of went into oddities that I didn't really understand. And so when it came time for me to re-up my contract or not, I wasn't in love with the show anymore. I love.
All right!
Wait, where are you?
Right here!
All right, go on, I'm done. Let's move on. Thank you,
We
Great question.
have 5 minutes.
All right, you have a quiz question. Okay, what's your name?
Thank you. Do you guys have any headcanons about your characters? Things that you personally think like Billy or Stu would do in that universe?
What was the question? Do we have any what?
Head cannons? Do you have a head cannon?
A head cannon?
That's creepy.
Well, I don't know what that means.
I mean, she just explained it. Are you listening?
Very well.
You're still talking about that show. The craziest show.
Your interruption is still ringing in my head. I couldn't hear the question.
I'm speaking on behalf of the people. Headcanon means, do you have any theories about how great Matthew Lillard is?
I spent a lot of time thinking about it.
That was good. Headcanon is like your own idea of like what happened in the universe or what they would be doing. Like, what's your secret sort of like? I have to tell you, it's 30 years ago and it's a movie. I don't really sit around and think about it too much. Do you have a different answer that you're like?
I don't. I agree with you. I don't. I mean, I think, in our world, you move on to the next character and the next character and the next character and the next story. It's not that you don't love what you did in that time. It's just the brain can only hold so much. So I don't really have many thoughts on that.
It's also just a job. I mean, I want to be super clear. Like, we're like super normal human beings. We have a weird job, and then we put on makeup and say shit that people write. But like, it's not like we're like, oh my god, I like to think about Stu. Where is he? What is he? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird job, and it's fun. Like, we both love what we do. We've been doing it our whole lives. But no part of it do we think is special. It's a privilege. I think that we take the relationship between fans really seriously. I think that we believe that you can impact people's lives that come to your table. You can hug them, you can see them, you can make them feel seen. Like, there's a relationship that I value. Like, I will catch a little kid struggling, or a queer kid, or somebody with addiction, or somebody having a hard time. and I will fucking hold the shit out of you. Because I think you can save a kid's life. So, together, we have that relationship with family. Other than that, other than getting into like a great restaurant, and not having it's just a job. Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, I don't think surgeons walk around going, I cut off somebody's appendix today. Hi, which...
We have time for one more question, Matthew.
Oh my God. I don't know if you have the right question. No, that's not the right question. It's gotta be a good question. You're gonna get us out of here. Alright. I choose you with your crazy face and your wings and your glitter. Alright. Now listen. Security's here. If you ask a bad question, he's going to taser you. The entire audience is depending on you. Good luck.
My name is Hannah.
Out! We're out!
I actually work in Santa Rosa, and so my question is, while you were either filming, what was your favorite place to film or hang out? Because you talked about like building your relationships with your coworkers around
Santa Rosa, by the way, is where we shot Scream.
Thank you for your
That's
question.
really cool.
I don't know if it was a great last question. So we're gonna ask one more question. Somebody's asking that. We're gonna answer that. We're gonna answer that.
I like, there was a go-kart track there that we went to one night
That is not hanging out. The best place was David Arquette's room. David Arquette is super weird, and he goes out and buys weird shit, and then we would go to David Arquette's room, and we would all hang out with David Arquette, because he's weird and funny. Alright, we need one last question. Is it a good last question? Okay, that. I cannot be paid.
So, did you guys take anything from any of your sets? Like that?
Give me that back. Alright, that was the last question.
I took Billy's boots.
Do you still have them?
I don't know where the hell they are. Somebody has them or not. I don't know.
They'd be worth.
I don't. You know. I don't. Did you take anything from the set?
That's not really how I would.
Yeah, we usually can't because everything has to be cataloged for reshoots if you have to come back. So you're sort of obligated as an artist knowing that, oh, we may need that later, potentially. So not really do you take stuff. Wardrobe stuff occasionally, you know, we'll request and get IMFPs, serpent's jackets, stuff like that. But yeah, usually I think we're obligated not to take things.
It's called stealing. Weirdo. I had nothing fun. You guys, thank you for being here. We really expected nobody. We're like, it's so good that they put us first because nobody's going to be there. And then you guys, all of you are unemployed. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Truly, thank you. We love you so
Have a
much.
great weekend.